Hey Thomas, how are you?
Jonathan, Jonathan, I'm doing good, doing good. So what do you want to talk about today?
I want to talk about choosing the right business partner and what to do when you and your partner or partners aren't always on the same wavelength of what you need to be doing.
Okay.
Um, I've had again a lot of what I want to go over is kind of what I've experienced with myself or with other clients or friends that I know that have partners. And it's very interesting that I think a lot of times people come to the table and they say, "Hey, you're a good friend of mine, and I trust you. I've known you a long time. You're family, whatever it may be." And they use that as a reason why you should be a partner with them, which it sounds good on paper, right? You're a partner because you're my family member, or you're a partner because I've known you for 10 years, or you're a childhood friend, right? Or better yet, maybe you're a partner because you have the skill set that I think we need in the company.
Okay.
And what I'm hearing from a lot of my personal friends and even a lot of our clients that they form partnerships with a lot of those reasons. But
Hmm.
what they found is that every a few in a few cases, um, when I'm talking about it with them, what I'm finding is that they went in, everything worked out well, and they got successful. They made money, they were a success. But what happened in one case specifically is that one of the partners was making, I'm not going to say the amount, but they were making enough money to be satisfied with their everyday life. And they just stopped, didn't want to do any more work, wanted to maintain what they built, and that's it. And then
Hmm.
the other one had a family, and the other one had a higher ceiling for what he wanted to do, or for what he wanted to be considered as that is success. And he didn't know what to do because one person was making, they were both making the same amount of money, but one of them was making what they thought was enough, and the other one was making probably closer to half of what he really wanted to make. And
Hmm.
for he did it for about 2 years, and he kept going, trying to push the other partner into having new SOPs, or how do we generate more revenue for the company. And no matter what he did, it just never worked. They just never were able to push themselves to go higher. And it was a big problem because he still had a successful business. They
Hmm.
just had different ideas of what they thought real success was out and was like landing. And I guess it's an important part because a lot of people never think about that when you're starting a company. You're probably starting a company with a person that either has the skill set you think that we need,
Hmm.
or they have the experience, or they have the relationship with you some way or another. But you
Hmm.
never really talk about, like, how much money do you want to make, right? What do you
Hmm.
want? Do you want 5,000 a month, 10,000 a month, 100,000 a month, a million a month? And I think that's a big mistake for a lot of people, because that could be that's a huge error in everyone's thinking. Because let's say you and I want to start a business, and I want to make $100,000 a month, and you want to make a million.
Hmm.
Let's say I'm at that 100,000 a month range, and now I think I'm good, but you're 1/10 of where you want to be. Now, what do we do now? It's
Yeah,
a
I know where you're coming from. Hey, listen. In my younger days, I got involved with a couple of people I worked with at other companies. You set up a business and that. And then, it was interesting from my point. I've always had that go-getter attitude and energy. So I never had to be always an employee and, just get paid for my hourly work. It just wasn't me. It doesn't fit me. But, people that I partnered up with on side businesses, you realize because you start seeing their real work ethic. And I'm like, it's like our work ethic isn't matching up here. And you learn then to, like, okay, we're going to have to write a business plan, and whose responsibility is going to be to do this job exactly. These are the times we're coming in, if it's a Monday through Friday gig, or do we rotate weekends, whatever it may be. You got to put that all out in paper, have it understood before you start, like, adding your names to bank accounts together in a business. Um,
yeah.
Listen, I've made mistakes. You've made mistakes, and I've had a few partnerships. It's like, this ain't gonna work. And I went out on my own in a few things. I've done very, very well. There's been like a couple I dropped the ball, but all you need is that one to like be your roller coaster, take you to new heights, and that occurred for me. And when you start needing money for investors to come along, I always found in the medical industry, doctors were always good, potential people to invest in your business. You always had a business plan, you laid everything out, dot your I's, cross your T's, explain everything. Hey, this is going to be phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. We're going to bring in X amount of employees. This is a revenue should be generating. We're not generating this revenue. Of course, we're not going to advance into the next phase of hiring people.
I mean, I think a lot of it is, you just don't know where you're going to go. You don't know how successful you may be. If you're making no money, let's say you're a college person. We talk about people that just graduated college. Let's talk about those kind of people. They're out of college. They don't know how much money they really need. They're living with their parents sometimes, or maybe they have a inexpensive rent or mortgage or whatever it may be. You don't really understand how much money you need in your life until you start growing and getting more mature, and you want potentially nicer things, and then you start realizing that you need X amount of dollars a month to be happy, right? Or you need X amount of dollars a month to be able to do the things that you want to do to make you happy, whatever it may be. Yeah. But for this one friend of mine, him and his partner, they knew each other for 15 plus years, right? They thought they knew each other very well. They both started running out of the, ran out, started doing great, doing sales, building the business. And then they just found once they hit that certain number, like one person kind of stopped, right? They just kind of went into like autopilot. And my friend was like, I still have more motivation. I still want to make more money. I have good years left. I'm young. I'm in my 30s. I don't need to be, putting my foot off the throttle. So
yeah.
And honestly, he's still in that phase of figuring out what to do next. He's kept it civil, but then he starts seeing that those friendships become very stressed, and they may not want to be, he may not want to be friends after the fact, or it's unfortunate, but you just don't know what to do next. And again, for everyone watching, I think it's important that you may be with a friend, a family member, a person that has the right experience or skill set, but you got to ask the simple questions, right? How much money do you want to make a month? How much money do you want to make a year? Where, and be real, be honest with each other. Don't just say what the other guy says or other person says. Be honest. Do you want to make 10, 20, 50, 100, $1 million, whatever it may be? You have to have that number. And then you have to gauge how they work. Like who's going to take what role, who's going to take what responsibility. And then how's that going to play out when one person's really busy and the other one's not as busy? Because then you get into a different part where they're not working as hard as I am, and what am I going to do? I'm not going to work this hard because he's not. So you really got to figure out what you want to do, how you want to do it, lay it all out on paper, and make sure everyone understands that's going to become a part of the company or just whatever you decide to do.
Yeah, listen. I would advise people not to go into business with any friends or family. That's me personally. Because you got to ask, is it worth jeopardizing everything? What's that value to that family member or, friend? What's the relationship value? So there's a lot of other people out there. You just have to be smart enough, and you have to evaluate it, So, but always have a plan. People that fail in business fail to plan. So make sure you plan it all out, put it down on paper. Of course, that can change. You don't have to always keep to the paper end, but you can always edit it. But you have to put the initial stuff down on paper.
I mean, that's a good advice. Do that, and then I like with myself and my partners. What we do is we have weekly meetings just to go over where things are at, what we're looking to do, and then maybe we might have like a monthly really high level meeting to go over like the the business and where it's going, because you easily lose track and you kind of get caught in working in the business and not on the business. That's a big problem that most business owners have, is that they forget to work on their business, and because they're constantly working,
100%.
So just keep going and be prepared.
You're 100% right. Jonathan, definitely gave some creative knowledge today. Appreciate it. Thumbs up, everybody. Hit that like button. Spread the news about the tribe. You guys have a great day. Enjoy. Bye-bye.
Bye.